Okay, hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss in short about holography. Holography has many applications, but one of the most interesting application of holography is your recording and reconstructing the 3D image. Okay, so let us start here. This is the introduction part of holography. Hologram was taken from the Greek word that is your holo means whole, gramma means message, whole message. Holography means it contains whole message or it captures whole message of an object. It is an advanced method or technology of obtaining 3D photographic images. These images are obtained without a lens, so that the method is also called as the lensless photography. The records are called as the hologram. So where the information will recorded, that that object will be called as hologram, or on which, suppose this is the photographic plate, on this photographic plate the information will recorded. After recording the information on this photographic plate, this will be called as your hologram. Okay, the technique of holography can also be used to optically store, retrieve and process information. By this method, the object is transformed into a photographic record or plate as an interference pattern. This is important. So on a photographic plate, the information will be stored with the help of interference pattern, which is called as your hologram. By using light source, here basically used laser light. Okay, so this is called as your recording. Reconstructing, by using the same laser light source, the 3D image can be retrieved from hologram, which is called as the reconstruction. So this is a two-step process. One step is your recording and next step is your construction. So here this is your laser light, should be laser light. Okay, here conventional photography is the technique which can provide the 2D or 3D scene is recorded on a light sensitive surface by the lens. Here lens is used, but in case of holography, lens are not going to be used. What are recorded is purely intensity distribution. That means suppose this is the object, I taken the photograph by conventional photography. So I only the intensity whatever coming from this object, that will be recorded by this instrument. Okay, so this is the camera. Suppose this is camera will capture only the intensity coming from this object. That's it. This is the basic principle of the conventional photography. Here, by this method, only color and intensity information are recorded. By these techniques, information about the relative optical path to different parts of the scene is lost. Suppose this is the object. Like this. So here I'm going to draw another object. Okay, suppose this is one object. Okay, so here the camera, this is the camera, captures the image of this object. That means only intensity captured. Okay, only intensity. But here you can see from the camera, this point distance is not same, both are different. So here relative path from different object, from different parts of this object is lost. Only the camera will capture the intensity or color, whatever coming from the object. That's it. But in case of holographic photography, what is the technique, or what it is, how it is different from the conventional? Here, the unique characteristic of holography is the idea of recording the complete wave field, both the amplitude or intensity and the phase. So here, as I told, that suppose this is the object and this is your camera. Okay, by conventional photography, only the intensity, whatever coming from this object, that recorded by this camera through the lens, but in case of holography, intensity, whatever coming from this object, that recorded, as well as this one, this path difference. See, from camera to this point and from the camera to this point, this path, these two paths are different. That means these two paths have some path difference. That path difference also recorded with the help of holography technique, and that path difference will create the 3D image up when it is going to reconstruct. Okay, so light wave here, and the phase of the light waves scattered by the object. Here you can, from this figure also you can understand, this is the light source, this is the principle of holography. This is the light source fall upon this object. Here, this is the core part. From this to this is the core part of the object. So light strikes at this point, reflected and collected on this photographic plate, suppose photographic plate. So from this point to this point distance, and again the light strike at this point of this object and reflected back to this photographic plate. So here, this pulse, light pulse from reflected from this point travels longer distance than this path. That means these two paths have the path difference, or the so-called phase difference. So this phase difference recorded by this holographic technique, due to which we can construct the 3D image of the object. Okay. Same thing, since all the recording media respond only to the intensity, it is necessary to convert the phase information into variation of intensity. So a standard technique used called the interferometry. This is actually the so-called interferometry, right? So here you can see capturing the intensity is part of the, you can say, conventional photography. Capturing the phase information is called the interferometry. Okay, so holography is the combination of two, capturing the intensity as well as phase information. So holography is a two-step process, what I discussed. The first step is your recording the interference pattern, or a plane or spherical reference wavefront on the recording media or photographic plate along with the wave scattered by the object, and there is no resemble to the object. Simply you just remember, first step is your recording the interference pattern. How? That I am going to discuss in the next slide. Second is your reconstruction of the image. How? Here, suppose this is the object. First we have to record the 3D information of this object by using a laser beam. So here laser beam strikes on the mirror, reflected back to the photographic plate. So this is called as your reference beam. Without any obstruction, the laser beam simply reflected from the mirror and collected by the photographic plate, called as the reference beam. Some of the laser beam scattered from this object, this one, these laser beams scattered from the different parts, see here, from here, from here, from here, different parts of this object, and collected by the photographic plate. Now here the reference beam and these beams, if I am going to consider these beams which are reflected back from the object, have the phase difference. So by using the reference beam, these phase difference or the reflected light which have the phase difference, they are going to interfere with each other on this photographic plate. If the ray, if the two ray or more than two ray interfere with each other having the phase difference, we can get only the interference pattern. You can see these are the interference pattern here, like this. So this is the real hologram after recording the information of the object. So after the interference happens, photographic plate will be like this. Only we can get the interference pattern, nothing else. So after this process, we can get interference pattern. So here this is the first step I written here. You can see in first step, laser beam having a particular wavelength incident on different part of the object and on a plane mirror. Then different rays reflected back from different parts of the object and collected on the photographic plate, what I discussed. Here reflected beam from the mirror taken as a reference beam. Due to the path difference between these reflected beams, fringes or interference pattern are formed on the photographic plate, this one, which is called as the hologram. So without any interference, this is called the photographic plate. After interference pattern, or with interference pattern, the photographic plate called as the hologram. Hologram means it contains the information. Okay, this process is called as the recording. By this process, 3D information of the object is recorded. Now second step is your reconstruction process. How reconstruction happens? Say simple. Here we have to put hologram here. Same laser light will incident upon this hologram, or hologram you can say illuminated by the same laser beam. When it happens, then two images will be formed, two 3D images. One will be your virtual image here, another is your real image. So this is the ray diagram of the reconstruction process. Same thing, second step, in second step, comma, same laser beam incident on interference pattern or the so-called hologram. Here hologram act as a grating element. Hence incident beam will diffracted through grating element. Due to diffraction through two, due to diffraction, only we have to write it, due to diffraction, two 3D images. Here we have to write two 3D images will be formed. One is virtual and another is your real. This process is called as your reconstruction, right? So in short, I discussed the process or the technique of the holography. These are the applications of holography. Medical applications, vast application you can found in our day-to-day life. Security and authentication, data storage and display, you just study. Remember at least one point. For medical application 1 point, security application 1 point, data storage 1 point for your exam point of view. Okay, and other applications are here, industrial and engineering application also, holographic interferometry, holographic optical elements, entertainment and art. So these are the advantages and drawback of holography. So these are the cost effective, high cost, higher storage capacity. Okay, increased feasibility of objects, enables the achievement of multiple images on a single plate, ability to combine with other technology. Drawbacks are, do not produce images of complex movement require complicated precise machinery to produce and view an images, low axial resolution of inline holography, reference illumination beam are collinear. I suggest that just remember these two drawbacks, first two drawbacks, and two or three advantages points, likewise two or three or four applications. Okay, so this is all about in short what we discussed about holography. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you.